The phone rang just as I was locking up the butcher shop. A stranger's voice, young, cocky. "I've got your daughter. Pretty little thing. You want her back? Then tell me what I need to know." I could hear the smugness bleeding through the static. He mistook my silence for fear. It wasn't. It was calculation. I'd heard men like him before. In jungles, deserts, windowless basements. They all believed leverage gave them control. "She's crying, old man," he taunted, voice dripping with arrogance. "If you stall, I'll send her home in pieces." I let him ramble. Let him believe he held the upper hand. But my pulse stayed steady. My mind didn't waver. Because while he measured me as nothing more than a butcher, he didn't know I had once lived a very different life. A life carved out of shadows, exits, and kill counts. That's where I stopped. A vow I swore never to raise again. Until he touched what was mine. My daughter's muffled sobs seeped faintly through the call. Rope grinding against skin. My hands clenched the counter until my knuckles went white. This wasn't chance. Someone had whispered my name into the wrong ear. That gang boy thought I was just an aging butcher, with dull knives and shaky hands. But there are things you can't bury. The way I move when danger rises. The way silence replaces panic. Later that night, when I asked around, they laughed at me. A gang. Loud and reckless, drunk on powder and stolen power. They thought the world was theirs. They thought she was theirs. But the truth was waiting in the reflection of the butcher's window. The man staring back wasn't broken. He was sharpening. And deep beneath the surface, something darker stirred. Not rage uncontrolled, but rage, patient. I didn't storm in. I didn't raise alarms. I studied. Phone records gave me a warehouse address. Cameras showed their comings and goings. I tracked routines, sloppy patterns, careless security. Each day they laughed louder, thinking time was on their side. But time has never been their ally. Time is the blade that sharpens in silence. I counted doors, measured shadows, marked the distance I'd have to cover. I watched who smoked, who fought, who carried weapons they couldn't use. They had no discipline. They were already dead. They just didn't know it yet. Every night, I stood in my daughter's empty room. The stuffed bear on her bed was the only witness. To the storm building inside me, I whispered a promise to it. She would come back untouched. On the third night, I moved. The warehouse stank of gasoline, blood, and arrogance. They had her tied in a side room, laughing, as if she was nothing but currency. I dismantled them methodically, one by one. No sound, just their final breaths filling the dark. Each strike carried the weight of years. I had tried to bury. When I untied her, her eyes were wide, wet with terror and relief. She whispered, "Daddy." I pressed a finger to my lips. Not yet, because the phone in my pocket buzzed again. The same arrogant voice. Still unaware he was speaking into silence, surrounded by corpses. "Ready to talk now, butcher?" he sneered. I answered, calm and steady. "Your men won't answer. They're already at your feet, even if you haven't seen them yet." His laughter cracked, jagged. __. Who the hell are you? My voice dropped cold. I stopped counting at 295. Tonight, your men carried me closer to 300. I could hear his breathing falter, his mask collapsing, his world breaking apart. "What the hell are you?" he whispered. I smiled, though he couldn't see it. "I'm the end you invited." Then I delivered the line that froze him. "You'll be my 300th. Look behind you." The call cut off, but his scream, raw and primal, carried through before it ended. Later, I carried my daughter home, her head pressed against my chest. She asked no questions. Children sense truths without words. I laid her in bed, the bear tucked back in her arms. Her breathing slowed into sleep. Innocence salvaged, at least for tonight. I sat alone in the dark kitchen, hands steady, mind silent. 295 had become 300, and the number no longer haunted me. It completed me, because the truth is simple. I am not a butcher. I am the shadow men like him never see coming. And when they touch what's mine, I remind them quietly and brutally why my past should have stayed buried. I am the ghost they summon with arrogance, and the silence that buries them forever. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. And make sure to subscribe to my channel for more powerful stories.